Hi, everyone. Kind of looking for a good sample for you to top it off. But that's good enough. All right. So, hi. For those of you who haven't seen me before, my name is Yuri. I work at Wikimedia Foundation. I am doing this as a volunteer. Everything I say here on is my own personal presentation because my boss is sitting right there and she might get upset. Well, I was a volunteer since 2005 and was highly interested in everything Wikipedia, gave up on the text portion, decided to do the techie portion. Wikipedia, unfortunately, is a wall of text with some images sprinkled in it. That's a very sad reality. It's much easier to write text than to create an image. It is much easier to create an image than to create a visualization. It is, when you want to interact with the users, there's much fewer tools available to you than if you want to just write a few sentences. A while ago, I wrote a paper called I Dream of Content. Yeah, I know, it's obvious reference. Where I was trying to explain one very simple point, that the hands-on museums are fun simply because they turn observers into participants. You play with stuff. You play with it, you get excited about it, you can learn much more from it than being a passive observer. You just kind of like observe, kind of like TV, couch potato type of thing. We're trying to go away from that, to get away from that. So there's a couple of key areas that I identified as being able to succeed in this endeavor. We can start from the top or the bottom. The bottom portion is the data. In order to create some sort of a visualization, you need to actually something to work with. Something like weather data of New York City. It's a lovely table. I spent some time creating it from government data. Point is, this data by itself is useless until you can visualize it. So right now, in most of the articles in Wikipedia, we have this lovely template, that shows weather patterns in, well, New York City in this case. But the problem is, this template is created by hand. Someone goes in, analyzes the data, types in the numbers change, thanks global warming. Someone has to update its table by hand. Oh, and I forgot to mention, this table exists in pretty much every Wikipedia language out there, which means now you have to go through all of them and update them. Lovely, exciting project. I mean, imagine like all these volunteer efforts spent on updating little template parameters. It's absolutely horrid. Well, this template is actually, this page is actually different. Because while it looks the same way, it actually takes data directly from this table. And this table sits on Commons, which there's a page about Commons. It's a one centralized storage for data. So all of a sudden, you can generate this thing automatically in every language. This is wonderful. This is the first step. But the thing is, how about you create a graph? You know, and make it interactive, kind of like see, oh, 2004, what's the snowfall was like? Or how about you go back in time? Or how about you like, I mean, it's a toy, really. There's not that much useful applications of like being able to do it this way, but it shows the potential. And you can switch to Celsius to Fahrenheit, especially for American speakers, readers. Again, this is the first step. How about GDP by state data? Again, taken from a government site, CC0, there's a clear license to it. Everyone can clearly understand where it came from. They can vet the data itself. They don't need to go into a template to understand how it came to be. You can just copy it, compare it with the government site. Again, usable by every wiki. And then you can create a graph like this. Again, this is a graph, the same technology, where you can see why California wants to separate. because they have 14% of GDP. I mean, it's like really 3.5 states. And you can look at the values, you can go back in time, you can compare it, you can say, oh wait, there was like this slowdown. What happened since this time? And you can see the growth. So instead of having this wall of numbers, you all of a sudden have an interactive graph, one little graph that actually tells the whole story. You can store, this is another project, maps. We recently launched it partially. In other words, English Wikipedia hasn't launched yet. We're working on it. Hopefully it will be done soon. Some other languages have. But again, a map is useless until you draw some data on it. What's the point of a map, to show a map in the middle of an article? Well, there's no point unless you actually say, New York is located right here. It's a locator map. Or you say, whoops. I keep doing the whoops things. This is an endangered habitat for this very, I think it's a moth. I might be mistaken. It's a Latin name. I just copied it. But the point is now you can draw the data, these red, little red squares on an alligator head. I enjoyed the map, so I decided to use this one. In an article about this animal and to show where the endangered habitats are. Or something like this. Again, the data for stars allows you to explore the night sky and see where things are. And this is a work in progress. There's still more work to be done on this. Or another one, a map, but this time like of a subway line with all the images. One other thing I wanted to mention very briefly is that because of this technology, we can now create templates that are globally localizable. In other words, I created a TNT module just because it might blow up. So using this module, a person can create a template like this one, a very simple line graph with very simple parameters. You can say, oh, just visualize this table in it. But then here it's in English, whereas here it's in Russian, even though the content of this graph is exactly the same. And this string happens because there is a data in a global template, data on Commons, which has these messages. So you no longer need to localize templates one by one. You can just do it in one location. Same, by the way, is for the template parameters. It's all stored you can now store it all globally. I want to finish off with a little template that I created a while ago. This is the join of tons of different data sources. The Wikidata that Katie is going to be talking about in a second, together with Commons for images, together with OpenStreetMap data, which is the base of all this map effort, allows you to do this, to draw a governor's map of who is the governor of which state, whether they're Democratic, Republican, or independent. You can click on each state to see who the person is. You can navigate to an article about them. So it tells you a story. And on that, thank you very much. Graphs and maps, yeah.
This is optional.
All graphs are available everywhere already. Maps somewhat limited.
They're linked from your website, from your user page.
Yeah, some of it. Yeah, I'll put more links in the talk.
On the event page, there should be links next to Yuri's name.
And I'll add more there. So keep an eye.
Come over there.
Oh, hold on, it's a different connector.
Oh, that's fine.
It's a micro HDMI.
It's fine.
No, it's a different one, I'm telling you. We need a technical person. This is a very different one. There it is.
Come over there.
Apologies. Minor technical issue.
Okay, so I'm Katie Filbert, user odd on Wikipedia and Wikidata. So I've been around the community since 2004, and since 2012, or in 2012, I was hired on as part of the Wikidata development team. Wikidata has been developed by Wikimedia Germany, and it was launched in October in 2012, and now there's more than 24 million items, so that's equivalent to pages, and 130 million statements. So it's grown quite a lot in the past few years. So it provides a centralized repository for structured data, similar to Wikimedia Commons. So and the data can be used on Wikipedia and the sister projects. So this is one of the examples. So Wikipedia, English Wikipedia has a lot of articles like this one about a census place in the US. These were created back in 2004 by a bot, putting together census data and creating a stub article saying, it says as of the census of 2010, well it said 2000 back then, blah, 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 a lot of data. And then you see in the sidebar, these articles exist in other languages, so German, and I don't know, someone in the English community cared enough or was able to update the English article to have, say, 2010 now, but maybe they don't know German, or I don't know, no one ever bothered to update German. You also have smaller Wikipedias like Haitian Creole. I don't know if yeah, so it also has a ton of these articles, and people are beginning to code the info boxes to be able to pull data from Wikidata. So at least now it has it doesn't say here, but this is 2010 data, but a few months ago, sure it had 2000 census data, and in this way, being able to pull from Wikidata and maintain this kind of data in one place, should be beneficial for people in many languages, to be able to maintain this kind of information. So that's one of the problems that Wikidata helps solve. The data is also as it's structured, it's easily machine readable. So if you want to make I don't know, some app or something it's easy to reuse Wikidata, whereas before it's people tried to scrape info boxes, but that wasn't very easy. All the data is CC0, so it's essentially public domain. And it's powered by Wikibase, so that's a set of MediaWiki extensions that allow storing a JSON or data blobs in the database in the same place where we normally store wiki text. So other aspects of the wiki, revisions, blocking vandals, all that stuff works the same. And so what an item looks like, it has an identifier, in this case Q42, so that's language independent, you can refer to it. It can also have labels in hundreds of languages, and as well as description, aliases. Then you have statements, so this is basically a property and then a value. And it can be qualified with qualifiers, so you want to know the start time, the end time. Also references are desired and can be added, and there can be multiple statements for a property, and at the top of the page there's a language selector, so you can change the interface into another language, and types of properties can be coordinates, reference another Wikibase item, a string, lots of different, or dates, lots of different things that properties and things can be on Wikidata. And like there are bots on Wikidata who help with importing data, but as well as like we need like people involved, like I don't know, like there's like a system of checking constraints, so you can find like I don't know, like items will have coordinates, and then it'll say like it's located in the United States, but then you can view these on a map and see like ones that are in like look like they're in Russia. So then it's like, I don't know, that's something that like people can help check, like things like that. And like there are other ways like we need people, like in addition to like what bots do. And like the data is queryable, so I want to show like some examples with the query service. So if you go to the like the sidebar of like Wikidata, then there's a link to the query service, and I'm gonna try like live demo of like the query service. So so it's similar to SQL. I don't know. I can make this bigger. So I want like a list of all like presidents, say. So it's like select, and then there's a suggester here, control space. You can use so item, and then select item label. Or I don't know. You can start with examples. So at the top, there are a whole lot of examples. So I'll start with cats, like. What? Okay. So you have like cats here. So there's like that. So okay. Instead, I want like how about I have some examples here. So I want like presidential pets, like I'll do that as an example. So instance of is P31, instance of P31, and then I want also to get subclass. So like let's see, yeah. So it's domesticated animal. And then I want like subclass of that. So you might have cat, like, which is a subclass of domesticated animal. 279. So like this gets me probably like all like pets. And then I want ones that are okay. Owned by, and then like owner, and then I want like the owner, position, held, president, President of the United States, and then you get that, and then I want like pictures of them. So item, image, image, and then I want to show the image. I forgot a dot. This should work, and then there's different like visualization modes, so I can get like pictures. So you get like that. Like there are also examples, but like with I don't know, I'm probably out of time, but like there are also maps and like other visualizations and things, and and on my page there's a whole lot more examples that you can try, as well as like examples here. So it's like, I mean, I'm not that good with Sparkle, but because I can look at the examples, like what I want to find, look for an example that's similar, and then like modify it or kind of figure out how it works. So like that makes it like, I don't know, for like more mortal people, like to be able to figure out like how to query things. And I think like you can do it, and there's also a place to request help. So if you're not sure, then you can just post your question, and like someone will answer and help you. So you can do this too. Uh-huh.
Let's go give her a big round of applause. How's everybody doing right now? Good? And you guys all got your coffee before they ran out? So we've got our next round about to get started. All right, do any of you have any questions? Right over here?
I just wanted to know where to send questions about Wikidata, like where to questions.
Where can we send questions about Wikidata?
What kind of question?
Just like general informational.
And it's on my page, and we'll link it from the event page. So it's a whole lot of other information about Wikidata that I can cover in like 5 minutes.
So,
Might be easy.
whenever it's my turn.
Can everyone agree that all this has been fascinating stuff? So thank you so much for coming out and sharing it with us today. So